broadcasting from downtown Brooklyn, right by the pier. This is the Brooklyn Baritone Podcast. Hey everyone, good morning. It's usually morning when I'm recording these podcasts and productions, but whenever you choose to join me, morning, afternoon, nighttime, late at night, evening, it doesn't matter. I appreciate the likes, the looks, the listens, but of course I'd appreciate you hitting the subscribe and notification bell on my YouTube channel, Brooklyn Baritone. Of course, do that with no pressure, although I would like the algorithm to swing in my favor. Okay, today I'm going to talk about a coin which has two sides. The coin that I'm talking about is how far we've come and have been weakened spiritually, mentally, physically, and definitely emotionally. When I look at these United States today and many other parts of the world, but I'm talking about this country here for what I see, what I live every day, I see a lot of people that are weakened, a lot of people that are not in control of their emotions, that are not in control of having many things that they desire, to the point where they can't function properly. You see, as I had a podcast back a couple months ago, America, the happiest place on earth. Well, I figure, and we all should figure, that America should be the happiest place on earth because we get to do what we want. But that's the problem, is that once we get to do what we want, live how we want, with no real standards, no real limitations, that causes people to lose control over things. Could be eating, could be sexual encounters, it could be getting money, whatever it is. So unfortunately, one of those side effects which affects so many people today. I'm going to talk about a very, very tragic story with one of my counterparts brought this to my attention. A man named Rajay Sharif of Maryland. Unfortunately, this man was involved with a custody battle, and he also had a girlfriend, a custody battle with his ex-wife, and he also had a girlfriend who I believe was pregnant. Unfortunately, this man took it upon himself to end the lives of those two women and himself. I don't have all of the details, so I can't really comment or, as people would say, pass proper judgment on these things, but what we do know is what happened. That's one side of that coin I was talking about earlier, of people not being able to control themselves emotionally with certain things. I'm not going to take parts, gender sides, male, female. I'm just going to call it what it is, and what I see that happens all the time. Unfortunately, this man was at a place where he felt that he couldn't do anything else but to take the lives, not just lives of people, including himself. It's easy to say you should never get to that point. I don't know what's going on with that man, and I strongly feel that he's been unstable. Now, he's made a good amount of money, because I believe he was an anesthesiologist, possibly making up around $200,000. That's for some of the details that I've read about this man, the very brief history. I don't know any of these people, so I don't know what was going on with them. Yes, ultimately, it should never get to that point where, in that situation, you're going to take someone's life. Unfortunately, there should have been other paths to be taken. And unfortunately, he didn't have control of his emotions. But so far to the point where he, for whatever reason, we don't know yet why he killed the mother of his child, his unborn child. He went on the way to his ex-wife's house and killed her. But he posted on social media, I believe Facebook Live, and posted that he just killed his girlfriend, shot her in the head, and he's on the way to go see his ex-wife to do the same thing, I believe, from a custody battle. It's very tragic because 3 lives are gone now. And now their children, between his ex-wife and himself, 2 boys, they're the bigger victims in all of this. And one extreme of that is we have to try to get to a point where we can get control of ourselves emotionally. I don't want it to be just one-sided, to feel like it's just men that have this problem. That should have never happened. I don't know all the details, but I don't want to spend too long on this for the sake of time. On the other side of the coin, we have a lot of women that utilize their children as a brokering piece. They utilize their children as pawns to hurt the men in their lives. Now, granted, people can easily be pricks. A lot of men out there are pricks. Are all men pricks? Definitely not. I believe there's a whole lot more upstanding men that will do for their children, do anything for their children, more than there are men who don't. Now, are there women who are pricks, who are deadbeats? Oh, yes, definitely. The unfortunate part is that's not reflected on all the time. Now, it's easier for a woman to be a deadbeat, especially in this country, because unfortunately the laws are biased in the court. This is the other side of the coin I'm talking about. Where one side you have the men who feel like they have no way out for whatever reason. I'm not condoning what he did. At this other side of the coin, we have women that do provoke. Do all women do that? No, definitely not. Can I say that I can say it's justified? Because people will say, well, look what he did. This guy is probably unstable. It's very possibly so. Apparently he was unstable. We don't know if he was like that all the time. We don't know what brought him to that point. Did he always have an anger issue? Might have. Also, backpedaling a little bit, I believe there was in one of the articles that his ex-wife said to police that they had a restraining order at one point and that he possibly molested one of their children. I'm not sure if that's true. If it is, that's just more proof of why we need more control over ourselves and what we're doing to each other. If it's not, we don't know. Now, going back to the other side of the coin, with many women take advantage of the court systems being biased in their favor to harm men. Can't harm them probably emotionally, which many of them probably do. They harm men financially. Hit them in the pockets. And because you have the government, you got Uncle Sam, you got local governments and law enforcement working on your side, so it's very easy for a woman to get to that point, to utilize the courts and the laws to her advantage because she is emotionally unstable herself. Now, we're looking at the same coin. People who don't have Elohim in their heart. We're a nation who doesn't have overall Elohim in our hearts. If we did, more than likely, we wouldn't even be at this point. Chances are, if we had Elohim in our hearts, that man would have been more stable emotionally, mentally, spiritually, to have picked a wife who also was emotionally, mentally, spiritually stable. They would have stayed married, would have had their children, they would have raised their children properly. But for whatever reason, they broke up. Custody battle ensued. We saw two sides of the extreme portion. Was he unstable? Was he abusive? We don't know for sure. It's leaning on the side that he may have been because of the restraining order and the allegations of what he did to one of the children. But we don't know that because dead men tell no tales. And the other side, we have the woman, unfortunately, took advantage of this, of the whole situation. If we had people who follow Elohim, this wouldn't even be a problem. You wouldn't even have ex-wives, ex-husbands. We wouldn't have people who are having children out of wedlock. It is what it is. I'm calling it how it is. This is the unfortunate side effect of not having these standards and morals ingrained in our hearts, in our minds. We bring harm to ourselves, we bring harm to other people. Now, I'm pretty sure as time progresses, more details will unfold, but I just wanted to cover this because one of my good friends, Senor Campos, brought this to my attention. And unfortunately, there's a lot of unstable men out there that cause a lot of problems for people, and there's a lot of unstable women out there that cause problems for people. I'm not trying to justify either side, I'm just calling it how it is. Always remember that we need Elohim in our hearts even more than ever. Yeah, I know, it may sound preachy, it may sound corny, but it's the truth. Because we definitely are not doing a good job on our own. Unfortunately, we have people who are gone from this earth. And unfortunately now we have children who dramatically have had their lives impacted in a very negative way. And I pray that the Father is with them and comforts all those families who's gone through those losses. Anyways, that's all I have. You want to get more of my content, you could go to my website at brooklynbaritone.com. You could also check more of my content on my YouTube channel, Brooklyn Baritone. You could also find me on LinkedIn under Corey Ashley. I'm also on Instagram and on Facebook. You could find the audio versions of these podcasts on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music on a Podcast and other podcast platforms. I also air on local Brooklyn cable television 4 times a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 12 a.m. and 2 p.m. on Verizon, Optimum, RCN, and Spectrum. Thank you guys for listening. I want you guys to be blessed. I want you guys to be more emotionally in control. Sometimes it's a challenge. I get it. But we need to do it. It's a struggle for everybody, myself included. Anyways, walk good. We'll hear from you next week. I'm out.